Hello YouTube. In this video I want to take a look at a game which I played against an opponent who has a plus score against me. Now this was the last of, I believe, 4 games that we played. I won all of them. One of them was objectively a drawn position, but I managed to win on time. And well, this is not the entire game. So I had the black pieces, and we have a Philidor. I played a f5, the Countergambit, which is, according to modern engines, just losing by force in pretty much every line, but finding it over the board and in a blitz game, well, it's not so easy. My opponent played this move, knight c3, which I don't see very often. This is known as the Zukertort variation, and because I don't see it very often, usually I see white taking one of the pawns. I kind of forgot my preparation, so I just played knight f6. And here my opponent went bishop g5. Although this is still good for white, better is pawn takes, and after knight takes, it just gets extremely complicated. After I recaptured knight takes, I took the other pawn, which is not really ideal. Now here, the engine likes to capture, and now it's just a mess. Takes, pawn takes, apparently is the only move. Bishop drops back, developing, and just the queen comes out, and after knight c6 there's this very visual move, bishop a6. The point is that you cannot capture the bishop because you lose the knight. You lose the knight with check, and well, you're gonna lose this pawn, or if you blunder with queen d7, then you're losing the rook with check. But my opponent captured with a knight, and then captured with the queen, which, this should be completely winning for white just by looking at the lack of development that black has compared to white. There's only one piece out compared to 4 for white. So here I played a bishop e7, and my opponent just liquidated, which is not what you want to do. If you want to trade, you have to ask yourself, I tell my students, is it forced or fantastic? If it's not forced or fantastic, then it's just foolish. Here, white doesn't have to capture the knight. Look at the top engine move, bishop c4, just bringing another piece into the game, or even better, just castles to have your king safe and potentially move this rook from the corner to the open file and putting pressure on black's king. So after knight takes, well, bishop takes, here we captured, and okay, black has a pawn structure that is not the greatest, but with so few pieces on the board, it's unlikely that black is going to get checkmated, which is a lot better than it was on move 7. And well, the pawn on f6 can easily be defended by the rook or the king, so now the advantage, as you can see, is not anywhere near what it used to be. Now the computer actually prefers to take the knight with the bishop. The idea is, after you take with the bishop, you play queen d5. The queen is very well placed on d5, and it stops black from castling. And if you play something like queen e7, pinning this knight, white can simply castle queenside. And well, now this rook can come here, and black has a lot of problems to solve. But after liquidating to this endgame, well, I mean, after bishop d7, I calculated that the check should be fine. I played king d8. The engine prefers king f7, but I think that's just suicidal. This variation is just not how human beings play chess. King g6, it's kind of asking to get checkmated. And then this move c3, which I don't get. I think it's almost a waste of a tempo. I guess the idea is to stop knight b4 and also to potentially reroute the bishop to the c2 square. So after king d8, my opponent played this move bishop c4, which I thought was a very bad move because of knight e5, which is hitting the knight, hitting the bishop. And if white takes, then I get to take with the f-pawn, and my pawn structure is much better. If white retreats the bishop, then I think the advantage is minuscule. So my opponent instead played bishop d5 after a pretty long think. The engine also considers this move rook d5, which I don't like. I think taking the knight or the bishop are both very good. If you take the knight, well, then we have these isolated pawns, so I don't think white really has anything here, even though the two rooks are much better than my rooks. I don't think it's that big a deal. And well, if I take the bishop, then because we have pawns on both sides of the board, if we trade rooks, then I think the bishop is going to be better than the knight. So I think I can not only hold this endgame, but maybe actually win it. After bishop d5, I played c6, which apparently is the best move. And here my opponent captured the knight, which makes sense, but now I get to take with the f-pawn, and now I like my pawn structure a lot better. And now the engine prefers black. I have two pawns in the center. My opponent doesn't have any pawns on the center of the board. He does have the rooks putting pressure down both files, but I don't think it's that big a deal. And this move c4 was very surprising for me. I apparently it's the engine's top choice. And well, the threat is to go c5, and well, I can't push the pawn because then the e-pawn is dropping. So knowing that, this move should make sense, because now c5, then I just push, and my pawn structure is very good. I'll have more space, and yeah, I'll just like my position. Rook d2, which I thought was kind of passive. I thought a better plan for white was to push these pawns. Maybe trade this pawn for this pawn and try to get one passer here and just try to go for, to make a queen. And here I just attack the c pawn. So b3 is played, and well, now a5. King b2, a4. Now if my opponent takes, I can take on c4 first, and then I can take the pawn on a4, because I'm not sure what is going to be able to defend it long term. So now my opponent is attacking the pawn, so obviously I have to defend it. King c3, which the engine likes this move, but I still don't see. I mean, I wouldn't have played it. Again, I think trying to get some counterplayed with the pawns is a better idea. So I captured and played rook a3. And here my opponent played a bishop e4. Now, at first, I thought about defending it with the rook, but then it's overloaded. And pushing it to h6. I mean, it's not a bad move, but I think I found a better move. b5, and this is the last move from the recording. Now, I can't recall the exact move order, but we got an ending, something like pawn takes, rook takes, king back, takes, 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 and then eventually we traded both rooks, and well, my pawns just went down the board, and I won quite easily. So yeah, I guess openings don't really matter that much, because you can play a line that's technically a forced win for white with the black pieces and still manage to win. So if you like the video, please do like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.